You just walk to a green park, you just remove your shoes and walk on grass.
On the grass, yeah.
On the grass, you see how it feels. It's therapy.
Mm.
I make it a point now to do it, and thanks to my coaches, a lot of people even push me into it. That sometimes we are so busy that we don't get time and, we just forget about it. But that's so important. And that's why retreats, we choose such places which are very beautiful, which have nature as a big, big, big part of it because we take nature walks. We do a lot of nature walks. Like the last one I did at Mati Se Farm, we had the jungle right behind
Mm.
and it's like a tiger zone. So every day we used to go walking in the jungle.
Guys, welcome to another episode of Red Carpet where we dream big, and in our podcast we bring achievers from all over the world that inspire us, that share moments of how they have accomplished some of the unthinkable and made it in life. And today we have a very, very, very special guest. But before I can introduce that special guest to all of you, for those of you who've been watching our podcast, अगर आपको अच्छा लगा तो प्लीज़ लाइक कीजिए, सब्सक्राइब कीजिए, कमेंट कीजिए. आज हमारे साथ we have one guest who I have great admiration for, and I have known her for more than 30 years now. Uh, she is an accomplished person in the corporate world. She used to work with Merrill Lynch, Deloitte. She's a chartered accountant by education, but now she has transformed her life into teaching people how to have a fulfilling life. So she does something called as wellness retreats, and she's going to talk about how she went from being this superwoman in the corporate world to now healing people and changing their lives. So Sonali, welcome to our podcast. I am so looking forward to this, and I want to know everything about what you do. But before we dive in, I really want you to tell us a little bit about you as a little girl. When you were this little girl, and then when you grew up, what were the things that you were having in your mind that I want to do this, I want to become this? Uh, when do I want to kind of settle down? And finally, what made you choose this career of yours where you are actually now having something called as a wellness retreat and left the entire corporate career wherein you had such an illustrious career of working with Merrill Lynch and Deloitte? So please tell us about your journey.
Okay, first of all, thank you very much for having me here. And lovely to be sitting here and talking to you. So, yes, your question has been like, I think it'll take me on a flashback mode, starting from my childhood. Yes, in my childhood, I was like very active, doing a lot of things. From there, it had started. The seeds had been sown by actually even my mother because she encouraged me. She used to take me to this class, that class. I used to take part in fancy dress competitions. And as a child, as young as maybe 3 and 4, I used to even have acted in some stage theater.
Okay.
So, like, I used to be a part of this institute of Supriya Pathak's aunt.
Oh.
So, Deena Gandhi and Ripin Gandhi. So, they used to run this small institute called Balodyan in our area where my school was. And that's where my mother used to take me. And I used to take acting lessons, and I've done a lot of these small, plays and all that. So, from that time, it was always that active kid who never sits in one place, who always wants to do something. So it started from there, and then coming into my, 10 years and 12 years, that's when I started table tennis. That was when my brother gave up. He encouraged me to get into it. And I said, okay, why not? And also Bharatanatyam dance also had started when I was like 5. So it was always a very busy childhood for me, coming from school, going for Bharatanatyam practice, and, doing all these other extracurriculars. So ये सब चला, and then table tennis आया. So then I went to the gymkhana, obviously started playing table tennis, and in the very first year I started performing, and I came in the rankings and, did good in the Bombay scene, and very soon represented the state, and that thing started. So it was the career, I think, was from 84 to 93 till I passed out my BCom. So all throughout that, I was managing Bharatanatyam, table tennis, and studies all together. So
And
like
you were national level, right?
national level, yes, state number one and national level. So represented the state for a lot of many nationals, and right from 84 to 93. So 9 years I was in the circuit,
Right.
and yeah, so that was the start. And that time there was no thought as to what am I going to do. The only thing is that when the decision came of science and commerce, that's when actually, I had to think first time, okay, what do I want to do? Because we had to take a direction. And that's when I was very sure that no, science, no, because I wanted to play for the state. And if I would have taken up science, there would have had to be a little break if I would have pursued engineering or medical. The background that I come from, yes, I'm coming from a family of engineers. So it was like the natural course of path that others would have taken. But for me, I think I chose not to go there. I wanted to continue with the game. That's what led me to commerce. And then TY, then after playing for 9 years, I think I've thought that, it's time to call it quits and move on to the next thing, which is I wanted to definitely study further. And that's when I decided to join in for CA. And then you know how CA, once you enroll for CA, everything takes a backseat.
Yes.
I had to be completely into it. So our articleship starting my day used to start at 5, end at 10, because you used to first go for the classes or studies, and then you go to office, you work because you're doing articleship with a firm. So it was like busy days, a lot of studies, and finished my CA in 97 and started working after that. So Deloitte and Merrill were my two places. So I was working for Deloitte, then I joined Merrill, then I again joined back Deloitte post my marriage.
Okay.
And then, yes, things again changed. There was again a turn in my life when I decided to start a family. So when me and my husband decided to start a family, I was very clear that I'm going to take a little backseat as far as my career is concerned, very like willingly and very happily. I was very clear that, I don't want to live in even this much of a guilt, or I don't want to compromise on anything. Like if I do something, I want to be doing it, like get involved in it. That's the way I am.
Okay.
In anything, be it my game, was it my studies, I was always that way. So this came as a very natural decision without any difficulty. And I just decided to get into full-fledged being a homemaker and motherhood. And then again, life progressed. And that's when there was again a turn. And that's when Pilates happened. Again, if you want me to, like, it was, again, it was not planned. It was just not planned that I'm going to be doing that. I wanted to do something where I found purpose and connect. Like I have to connect with it. This time I just didn't want to do it for the heck of doing, like, chalo, CA kiya hai to abhi ye job. So I had a choice of going back to finance. Then I started my work back. I mean, when I was thinking of starting my work back, but it just did not resonate with me. I just did not feel right that no, I'm not made for it. I don't want to do finance. Then what? So at that time also I was not clear of what. So, and I actually skipped that part during this middle intervening years from 2000 to 2000, where I had a couple of accidents, which had actually incapacitated me to do my strenuous workouts, which I was into kickboxing, I was into playing squash. So even post my table tennis days, I was always active. I was playing games. I was like a very good kickboxer. But this two accidents in my life changed everything. So one road accident, head-on collision we had in 2004, and then subsequently a ski fall in 2005. And all those basically, I had to rehab from my back pain and all. I was struggling with all those pains. So fitness and being an instructor or trainer or coach was never remotely also in the, in my thought. So it was always क्या, और मुझे travel का बहुत शौक था. अच्छा, मैंने बोला तो 2015 में वो भी experiment किया. चल travel का करने दे मुझे and let me do something where I take people for travel, because skiing, I used to take my son for skiing. For 8 years I've taken him to Gulmarg, bunking school for 15 days, and skiing in India means Jan, Feb, March.
हाँ.
The final exams भी रहते हैं, but I was very clear extracurriculars are very important because that's how I've lived my life. So I used to make him bunk school. 15 days mother son used to go to Kashmir, Gulbarg, and do courses. So he is a very good skier. He has done all his ISM courses, and even I have done a couple of them. In that one course, I fell very badly,
Oh.
and I had a ligament tear, and I had a tendon cut in my that accident. So a lot of things happened. So I used to take a lot of people for skiing trips. Then people started approaching me, यार हमें भी लेके जाना skiing के लिए. ऐसे करके वो actually tour जैसे हो गया.
Oh.
कि 8 mothers, 8 kids joining me every time, or 8 some fathers and kids joining me every time, and going for skiing. So it was fun because I loved organizing. So sabka coaches, staying, everything I used to organize. But not professionally, just because all of my friends and take
Correct.
the jing bang and everybody. So I was very happy with that because in India कोई skiing गुलमर्ग नहीं जाता है. कश्मीर जाने से सब लोग का.
डरते हैं.
But my husband actually, thanks to him, that he trusted me, saying, हाँ तू जा. He knew that I am very adventurous. I cannot. So when Rishi was 5, I started taking him. Until he was 13, 14, 8 years non-stop event. So sometimes he used to give me company, sometimes my mom, sometimes alone, sometimes his jing bang used to come with me. So it was a great thing. That's what led me to think that yeah, travel करती हूँ ना, I am very good with it. Planning, organizing stuff. लेकिन वो भी कुछ जचा ले. Nothing which was fulfilling. It felt very, no, the complete me, Sonali will not be invested in that. वो नहीं मुझे लगा. So then ऐसे discover करते करते I had done, I was doing meditations and yoga and all, which used to really help me. And then I did Isha ka inner engineering course.
अच्छा.
So I don't know if you've heard of.
I've heard, yeah.
Yeah. So I just happened to do it because that time I just said, why not? I like exploring different things without judging that thing and not dependent on what, say you tell me, ye acha nahi hai. I like to experiment myself, what it does to me. So whenever I go for anything, I just surrender myself to that thing and see what has to happen, what has to come out of that particular thing. So Isha was a great experience. After Isha, things just happened. And my rehab, this doctor had suggested me to do Pilates classes. So parallelly, all these things, why I'm saying all parallelly, because everything was like working parallelly. I was doing Pilates classes as a student. And I realized I'm picking up very well. So that batch also became very beginner for me. Because obviously a sports background was there. And my back pain was healing. I was doing very well. That's when a teacher from Chennai had come to do a teacher's training course. And I said, चल ना देखने दे क्या है teachers training course, sign up करने दे. So I asked her, can I do? I have no background in otherwise fitness except that I'm a sports person. And so she said, no, you can join. I said, okay, let me see. तो वो course किया, I did very well. The teacher said, Sonali, you must teach. You're doing, actually, you're a very good teacher. तभी पता चला. I always thought I can never become a teacher because I think I lack patience. That's what I thought about myself, that patience is not then. I think so will the other people in my life will vouch. Okay, this is a little changed version today. I mean, not today, like, yes, this journey has changed me and I've become. But I used to think that teaching, no. That patience I don't have. But I got the opportunity to teach my first class when a trainer left. And the place I was going for classes, she said, why don't you take this class? Let's see. It started with 2-3 sign-ups and it went on to 13 people in the class. And the feedback that I was receiving, your classes are so different. We've done so many other classes, but your classes are different. I said, okay. Because I planned my class, but somehow impromptu, always I would see them and, things would change on the spot. Because I think my movement, that's where my table tennis actually played a big role because my connection with fitness was so much that, movement just came easily. Even understanding what somebody is doing and how and what I can help them to modify that. So I think it just came naturally and I realized, okay, this is a good thing. And I started enjoying it. So one batch went on to 2 batches, were increased. Then I said, chalo, now to I have to certify more. I have to start learning and go deep into it, that what is this? Anatomy सीखना पड़ेगा. Because biology तो कभी school में अच्छा नहीं लगता था.
I know.
I never used to like biology. And today I am studying anatomy and also that's why that physiotherapy or something did not appeal to me, which I think I would have been great at it. But it never appealed. So then I started hunting and reaching out to people, looking out for courses. And then the journey started from functional course, then led to Pilates, Mat 1, Mat 2, Mat 3, then went to equipment. Then I realized there is something like an equipment, which I did not know. But that happened. And then one after the other. And COVID changed my life. For some people, COVID changed in the negative way. For me, COVID was a boon.
कैसे?
So COVID हुआ और मेरे में क्या आया कि मैंने बोला तभी still I would say a little overweight and I would have wanted So I worked on myself. I joined a person who, got you, basically gave us an Ayurveda diet, kind of. And in 3 to 4 months, I lost my 12 kilos and I became like perfect figure, जो कभी childhood में भी नहीं था, possibly. So I think I did that. I used to wake up at 4, 3:45, 4 every single day. I did so many courses. I learned Animal Flow online. The first batch of online, which was launched in COVID, I said, I'm signing up for that. That I learned. Kettlebell, I learned online with a coach who is currently the world champion. So I learned kettlebell from him. Then Pilates, obviously the journey was on. My online classes started. I just started. Actually, I was not confident with using the laptop and all. So मेरे clients बोल रहे हैं यार सोनाली तो online सिखाना सब लोग सिखा दे you're so good. I said नहीं पता नहीं मुझे ये use करने आएगा. I mean क्या करना है ये करना है Zoom क्या. I was like worried. Then obviously that time my son was there to help me with all the things. Okay, mama, do this. Earphone. So the journey started.
Got it.
So I did not even क्या बोलूँ मैं कुछ भी नहीं ये सब पता था सो उसमें से जस्ट डिस्कवरिंग माई सेल्फ ओके ये भी करना है वो भी करना है क्लासेस शुरू 1 बैच हुआ 2 बैच हुआ वेंट ऑन टू लाइक 4 बैचेस देन एनिमल फ्लो सीखा उसका बैच शुरू किया एंड देन आई डिसाइडेड व्हेन आई लॉस्ट वेट विद आयुर्वेदा आई सेड यार दिस आयुर्वेदा इज डैम गुड आई वांट टू लर्न इट so I sourced for an online course in Ayurveda. So
Okay.
in COVID, I was sitting and doing multiple courses. So I learned Ayurveda. I became a therapist, level 1 therapist in COVID. So COVID को literally you can say मैंने नहीं छोड़ा. So सवेरे उठ के cooking सब करना था तो I used to wake up early. That 4 to 8 was my time. When before everybody in the house
Every
wakes
week,
up.
yeah.
And then I used to be in the kitchen and then again teaching. So COVID बाहर नहीं जाना था. It was a boon. No meeting friends, boon. चलो coffees बच गए मेरे because I used to enjoy. I love meeting friends. I love going out. I'm like quite. So it was like a difference. So मैंने उसमें adapt कर लिया. लोग बोलते अरे यार कितना बोर हो रहा है कोविड में से नहीं उसको चेंज करते हैं सो आई ऑलवेज फाइट आउट विथ माई
True.
you have your low moments. Everybody in life has their low. I'm not always this high spirited all the time. I have doubts in my mind. I have a lot of, बोलते हैं ना जस्तजू in your mind. ये right है, ये मैं कर सकती हूँ, नहीं कर सकती हूँ, क्या है. But I source, I take help. I will like fight it back. I will say nahi, and look forward, be positive. And my mother plays a big role in that. Like, उसके सामने अगर bore मैंने word use किया, she would say bore. What's that word and why are you using it? There's so much to do in life. So she is my biggest inspiration because at 82 she does Pilates 4 days a week.
क्या बात.
She does yoga every day.
Wow.
She lives alone and she has no full-time help.
She has, sorry, no?
She has no full-time help.
Oh my
She
God.
lives completely alone. So she is my big anchor. So मेरे kettlebell के tournaments होते थे my mother said कोई नहीं आता है मैं आ रही हूँ तेरे साथ. So Pune she used to come with me for nationals.
Wow.
And things like that. So my son, my mother, my husband, that support, because husband also retired at a very early age. So he was also at home listening to my online classes all the time. And, so support was there for everybody. So I think, yeah, I discovered myself and here I am.
What a journey. What a journey. But I'm going to do a deep dive, Sonali. Since I know you from my college days. And like me, everyone in college saw you as very driven. You were national level player and you were also a rank holder in CA.
Yeah.
Now, for those who are aspiring players, doesn't matter what sport they play, can you first talk about sports? To be a national level player, what does it take to reach there? What is the mindset? What is the ritual that you had developed every day? It could be discipline. It could be making sure that you have the right diet as well. Maybe you could break it down for somebody who's an aspiring sports person and wants to reach the national level and who knows, maybe even the international level. So let's talk about that first because you were so consistent and I still remember I used to play table tennis as well and I would just be watching you in awe. I still remember that. And I still remember coming back home and telling my brother, and he used to also play, but but we were nowhere close to your level of playing table tennis. And I used to always come back and of course tell my colleagues as well, in Podar. Very close friend CR, which is a common friend of both of us. And CR was also a table tennis player, as you know that. He was a very good player, much better than me. But I used to get inspired by you more than CR. So what is it that made you so good in what you did? Let's talk about sports first.
I think sports requires a lot of discipline, consistency, commitment, focus, everything. I would say, that single-mindedness.
Okay.
वो हॉर्स का जैसे वो है कि आगे देखो और किधर नहीं. Because there are a lot of distractions. In sports, there is no room for distractions. Because if you want to reach that level, so your day starts with training. It's like hours and hours of training. So you do your fitness, then you play in the morning, then you rest in the afternoon. Again, evening also. So we had a practice in the morning and evening. So basically, I'm doing nothing but that. And in spare time, obviously, studies are important. So you have to balance out that. So that leaves very little time or no time for hanging out with friends. There's a sacrifice involved. So you call it sacrifice, or for some people it may not be sacrifice, it may be the way they want to be. Like for me, it was not sacrifice. So, we were used to be playing in the building first. All that stopped after I started table tennis. Hanging out with friends, going out with them. At that time, we never used to go out so much. But today's times, I feel being in sports at a high level is more challenging than at that time. Because that time we didn't have mobiles.
Right.
We didn't have those distractions. Today, there are lots of distractions. So actually, I admire and I salute that in today's times when somebody reaches that level, even today my eyes, that it feels good to me that, wow, that person has made it. Like that dedication is there. Because it's not easy. You have to have that single-mindedness. You have to have that drive. You have to have that passion. Passion is very important. Just not liking. Liking will not, it'll help you reach a particular level. But it has to be passion. What does passion? I feel passion means that you are ready to let go of other things in your life very easily. Like friends मिल रहे हैं, चलो यार आज पार्टी करते हैं, शाम को मिलते हैं. You will not be able to go. You cannot eat that things. You cannot eat those things. You have to sleep at 9. You have to be in bed at 8:39. So you have to sacrifice.
Mentally, how did you prepare yourself? Like, I still remember there were tournaments, and I used to also participate. And I used to see CR playing. I used to see you playing. I used to get I used to get cold feet back then. Abhi to life has, a journey has changed you. But back then, to mujhe bahut cold feet hota tha. But I used to see you playing. I used to see CR playing, and of course, there were other guys playing as well. I could see that zero, like total confidence in you. What was that mantra? How you used to mentally prepare yourself when there were so many other good players whom you're going to face?
No, there was, I must say honestly, was always these butterflies in the stomach and always goosebumps before a match. Like it was not easy.
Okay.
That stress, that tension, was always there. And especially when you are a top seed or a second seed, when you're in those higher ranked players and then you go in your first round. In fact, the first 2 rounds were more stressful sometimes that, किधर मैं upset हो जाऊंगी and, next day headlines. तभी तो बहुत जल्दी, आ जाता था सब कुछ. So there was always, but then I think it just, your preparation, the way you prepare for it, and you just tell yourself and, just go out there and do it. And luckily, I had my brother for the first few years till he went to the US. He was always there in all my matches to cheer me. So that was a big support. So it helped, it kept you like there. And always, I remember still looking at him. And he used to be like, okay, some cues he used to give me and okay, do this, do that, play this. So he was like really my anchor and he was a player himself. So that was a big support. He left when I was in 12th. So my 3 years of career was without him. But then by that time, I was like into it totally.
Right.
And then I was not stressed. I used to just go and be there. Because by that time, I was even clear that, you get used to it.
Right.
And it became clear. And secondly, I would say even at that time in my FY or TY, SY BCom, I was sort of clear that I'm not going to be playing after TY BCom.
Okay.
My plan had started drifting towards education again, and seeing how it is at the competitive level. When you go higher up, it gets a little taxing and stressful in other ways, and maybe at that time I think I realized that that's it that I can do. So that single-mindedness in this particular spot. Now it's time to go on some other goal, and that's when you go for it and you enjoy. And actually वो नशा है.
Hmm.
मैं बोलूँ ये स्पोर्ट्समैन का क्या होता है, तू
हम्म।
बोलता है ना कि कैसे, हाउ डू यू डू इट, इट्स नशा. Once you are in it ना, it's like you're just there, you love competition, you want
I
competition.
love the word you said, Nasha. Yeah, absolutely correct.
Yeah, so वो नशा था मेरे लिए.
हाँ.
Like मुझे बस every day I want to hit there, and I'm like waiting for competitions, waiting, और आज भी I love competition. So whatever courses I do, I want to be the best in that.
हाँ. मुझे अभी भी याद है, you were very offensive in your table tennis. The smashes used to hit.
Yes.
And when you used to lose the point, I could see that frustration. कि मैं,
Don't go there. I don't want to go there.
how did I lose this point? Now, did that help you transition from being top or best in your sports to being again a rank holder in CA? Did sports help you?
Yeah, it did. Because what you are talking about, that frustration and not doing well and being very particular about yourself or what you're doing, it's a little bit of aggression in me.
Hmm.
So I have that aggression. And that aggression in a positive way,
Hmm.
yeah, it could lead to negative. It was sometimes I used to get really angry and it used to be bad. But that little aggression is very important, I feel. And that aggression in anything I did, like CA भी किया तो नहीं बस करना है. उसमें CA में भी first attempt I actually did not clear.
Okay.
Okay, the final CA. My parents had a bad road, and no excuses, but basically they had a road accident and I could not study well, and I failed in both the groups, which was like a
Blow.
first failure of that kind.
Yeah.
Sonali Gandhi at that time, failing. Oh my God. So, वो एक hurt, बोलते हैं ना, deep hurt.
Right.
Hurt me so badly that second attempt आया. I said, अभी तो, so वो जो aggression था ना, that helped me nail the second attempt and get a rank, like, in the All India. So yes, aggression is...
If somebody has to prepare for his or her CA, what would you recommend the student to focus on? Maybe you did something different in your second attempt than you did in your first attempt. Would you like to share that really got you that rank?
So what changed, I think, was being a little more meticulous.
Okay.
Not taking it for granted, because sometimes when you are bright all along and when you have been an achiever and you've always got good marks and you've never failed in your life, that thing can happen. That failure is always, that first failure is not. CA teaches you that. So I think wo jo, I became very meticulous. Because somewhere I went wrong. What went wrong? Because we are doing 8 subjects together. It's a big portion, big syllabus, entire Income Tax Act, entire Companies Act. So going to college to study helped me. In studying in a group helped me initially.
Okay.
Because we had a full batch,
Right.
of CAs who were still left, who had not cleared like me. So आधे जन निकल गए थे, but मेरे एक साल junior भी थे. So we had this nice group where we used to discuss a lot of things. I think that helped
Acha.
clearing a lot of things and then going back and putting that effort. And secondly, I was not this time the second time around when I went for exams, I was not stressed. I was sleeping for 7 hours. Usually I used to sleep for 2 hours and 3 hours and waking up in the morning, studying and going that last minute studies. I realized that was just too much. So that calm. You just need to take a deep breath. You have to put in consistent efforts rather than just last month of studies, I feel. In CA, it helps when you consistently put in efforts for those 2 months, 3 months. And then, just work on it. I think yeah, that was the only difference. I didn't leave anything. Like previous used to चल ये छोड़ देती हूँ, इसमें से नहीं आएगा, उसमें से नहीं आएगा, ये नहीं आएगा. ये time ऐसे नहीं किया.
Okay.
Study fundamentally. Don't just learn. Try to apply. Just understand the concept and try to work on it and memorize certain things. Made a lot of notes. Made those chits. Lot of things a little differently and more particularly. And I think yeah, it happened.
You finished your CA and then you went into the corporate world. You worked with Merrill Lynch, Deloitte. Can you tell us what were you doing at Merrill Lynch? What were you doing at Deloitte? And what is it that was fulfilling in these two roles, in these two companies that you were working with? And then, of course, eventually you moved on from there as well. But we'll talk about that later. Maybe we'll just focus right now on what roles you were playing in these two companies and what was so fulfilling in each of these roles.
So starting with Deloitte, because I did my articleship with PC Hansotia, earlier PC Hansotia, which got merged into Deloitte. And so that was, we used to be auditing. So we were auditors. I was in the auditing department. So we started with, so I used to, after I became a CA, I used to handle audits like Procter & Gamble, Knoll. I used to be, so we used to, it was a nice feeling. We had a lovely group working with, and we used to be a team of chartered accountants and juniors who used to go and work with these companies. We used to even travel for auditing these different factories because some of them were manufacturing companies. So I think it was a great thing to understand, how we get the products and I mean, how the company functions. So we always, like SR Oil, we visited the rigs, so it was a nice aspect to it. And obviously accounts auditing was good, but I never, even while doing it, I was like not loving it. Like I couldn't see myself doing this all my life. It was a stepping stone, so I was very clear that I will get. And that's when I became CA, I started applying in different companies. I didn't want to, I could have continued working with just there, but I said no, let me go on the finance side, out of the manufacturing side. And that's when I started applying in all these financial institutions. And Merrill was my first, that time it was DSP Merrill Lynch. And I applied to DSP Merrill Lynch, and that's where then I got in and I started working there. We were in operations. So the markets end and our work starts, right from, contract notes and reporting, all the reporting to the exchange, to the RBI. So all that work started. So it was a fast-paced life there. It was action time all the time. It was never a dull moment. And there was no end time to the work. Like it used to be 10 sometimes, 11 sometimes. So there was no end time. It's not a typical job where you go home by 6 and 7. That was not happening. So that was very clear. Again, so that happened. And in the meantime, there I got married after that. So after marriage also, this was not a life I wanted to live. Very clear that I don't want to work in this kind of a stressful, it was stressful. Always there are deadlines. Everything is time bound. Everything is like, you have no time to eat. Sometimes your lunch from 1 o'clock, it can go to 2:30. And day in, day out, I think I realized that no, this is not happening. And I wanted to, settle down into the household stuff, like, just live life a little more peacefully rather than running. So I went back to Deloitte.
Okay.
I felt that that kind suited me because when we have audits, it's a very hectic environment, but otherwise it's a regular, on those non-audit times, it's quite peaceful. And I was very familiar with the Deloitte working atmosphere. So it was for me, very easy to gel in. And I had a great rapport with my boss, my teacher. I mean, he was just amazing, welcomed me back. And I think I was very lucky to work with some of the best people. All my bosses, my coaches, even in my wellness, my fitness, I have found some amazing teachers.
Sonali, I'm going to now ask you about your journey from corporate life to becoming a wellness coach. Can you specifically share maybe a story where your client's life has been impacted? More from your client's point of view.
Client's point of view, let me think. Actually, COVID was a big one where, everybody was stuck with being at home and didn't know what to do with that because everybody used to go to some class or something. And that online thing was very new for everybody. And they were obviously even going through lot of emotional change of staying in the house. It had its own challenges. So that's when a lot of people have come and tell me you were a saving grace in our life. Because, your classes gave us that sanctity, that peace, or, that let out that we were looking for. So, savere ka batch ho, ki sham ka batch ho, wo ek ghanta aake, they used to forget everything and they used to just move. And many of them have become fitter. They became pain-free in COVID. So, I think in general, yes, that was very good. And specific clients, if you tell me, then what
Specific outcome.
outcome?
यानी कि मैं इसलिए पूछ रहा हूँ कि how is your retreat or your program different from the other wellness or
Okay.
other retreat programs?
Yeah. So mainly because we offer a variety. Basically, it is for people of all types, any age. Secondly, who have whatever interest they have. It's a combination of, because some people are into yoga, some people don't like the slow-paced workouts. Some people do not like they cannot go into a meditation or all the time. They need dynamic movement. So usually what I observed, I was studying when I saw all the retreats, everywhere it's about yoga, disconnect from your city life, come and be in that immersive experience, close your eyes and, do
मुझसे भी योगा नहीं होता. It's
योगा.
difficult.
सो बिकॉज मैं खुद योगा में नहीं एंटर हुई थी. मेरी जो एनर्जी थी ना, वो मैंने योगा किया, लेकिन वो कभी मैं हील नहीं हुई उससे. Pranayama and meditation, yes. So yoga is a way of life. People take yoga as exercise. Actually, when I did this course of yoga, I realized that yoga is not just a movement. If you want to exercise, there are many other things to do.
Okay.
When you go for a yoga class or do yoga, it is basically to imbibe certain values. It's that eightfold path. Yoga means the eightfold path. It doesn't mean exercise. वो उसको मरोड़ के अभी it's become like a fad that okay, I'm doing yoga. But how are you doing yoga? Are you doing the way it's supposed to be done?
Okay.
So I'm not. So yoga is great, but उसके लिए एक temperament चाहिए.
तो आप क्या करते हो फिर अगर
So I basically, so these retreats, so what I saw is they were doing only yoga.
हाँ
I said, no, we have to, there are so many other things in this world and all movements. You cannot say this is bad, that is bad. Everything has a purpose. So I do Pilates, for example. I'm a mat Pilates and equipment. Obviously, in the retreats, we can't do equipment, but we'll do mat Pilates with props. There are different props. That helps you in strengthening. And Pilates is a rehab workout. It's to strengthen your core. Pilates is a great workout to strengthen your core
so do it on the mat.
on the mat.
Okay.
Any form of Pilates is great for strengthening your core.
Okay.
And I must say this because a lot of people still don't know about Pilates. So Pilates is a very focused movement, coordinating your movements with breath, like yoga, but a little different. It's more specific to engaging the muscles in a particular way, such that your spine is protected and you do not get injuries. So it basically works the smaller muscles of the body. It's basically a workout where you work out from inside out, now not outside in.
And what is animal flow?
Animal flow is a quadrupedal movement where you're on your, it's a locomotive movement where you're on your force, on
Okay.
your limbs. So either 2 limbs or 4 limbs, 2, 3, 4. So you're down on the floor. It's never standing. So that is where you do all the movements. So animal flow has 6 components to it. Okay, so I won't go into detail of naming them. It'll take a lot of time. But there are 6 components. And the last component is the flow. So there are separate movements. The way Mike Fitch, who is the, he has conceptualized and invented animal flow. It's a mix of a lot of other movements. He studied and made this animal flow where there are certain rules, there are certain components, which we learn each movement and then we join all those to become, to make it like a flow. And no 2 flows are the same. Like I may design a flow, it will be different from what you design. So flow means there are separate movements which you connect and becomes like a dance. It becomes like a flow. It becomes very fluid. So, and it becomes very meditative.
Okay.
So it's a very strong movement because if you can imagine that your knees never touch the floor. You are either on your 2 limbs or 4 limbs and you're moving.
So let's say अगर किसी को issues है with self-confidence, anxiety, they're suffering with stress levels in either their work or relationship, or even they have physical challenges. Can all of this therapy, do you address all of these problems, or you specifically address only 1, 2, 3 issues of what a person is going through in life?
See, actually, where our modality, the fitness modality comes in, we address only that 1, 2, 3,
Mhm.
like to do with your fitness.
Okay.
But the results of that is that it's definitely going to help you. That's my observation with my clients.
Mhm.
It helps you in dealing with stress because movement heals. As you say, it's a tagline that I always use. And I have healed through movement. When you move, it's like how water is still, it becomes stagnant.
Yep.
So you become your energy inside your pran, you become very stagnant. So you need to move. And movement will help you in releasing a lot of your pent up, stuck up emotions.
Mm.
Then there are these other things where you go internal. Sometimes, when people are going through hell and they have certain things going on in their life, they cannot sit and meditate. You ask them to meditate, how will they meditate?
They won't.
They can't.
They can't
You
be.
can't
Yeah.
focus. You say, please bring your attention to your breath. You cannot bring. You cannot expect that person to bring. But what you can do is make the person move in such a way where the person is not able to think of the problems. You are engaging. Pilates is that. Annual flow is that. Because Pilates, there's no time. It's a non-music class. We don't have music in Pilates because there are 5 things which I'll ask you to do at the same time. I'll ask you to breathe. I'll ask you to engage your core. I will ask you to do this, that, lot of things. That's how that makes that workout the way it is and it rehabilitates you. Similarly, animal flow, when you're doing it, fires a neuromuscular system. It's always that right leg under switch, left leg. We have call outs. It's always the right leg, left hand, right leg. Imagine what it does to how many commands your mind has to send to do that particular activity. There's no way you're going to think, oh, what's wrong in my life?
Mm.
You just come, you surrender to your code. That's where I come into the picture. And I love being there that, come. And in my personal sessions, yes, I do a lot of talking.
Yeah.
A person feels good when they talk to me because somehow I can put myself in their shoes to understand what they are going through. I think for me, that I like that kind of teaching rather than just doing a class and tada bye bye, come, this is what we are doing and go back. I like spending time talking to my students. Whether it's retreat, whether it's my online classes, also my classes go on for 1 hour, 10 minutes sometimes because the class is there. And then after that, I talk to them.
Mm.
How was it? What happened? Then I always tell my students, your classes are thrice a week, but you don't pay me for thrice. You can use me 7 days a week. I'm available. I tell them. And I genuinely mean it. Because today's times, trust me, nobody is there to listen to you. Everything is a exchange. These are the fees. I'll give you 1 hour of advice.
Mm.
These are the fees. एक
Very
घंटा हो गया, bye bye.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल.
अगर सब वो करेंगे तो वो बंदा इतना, when somebody is going through something,
Yeah.
you want answers.
Correct.
I can't, keep a time limit to it. That's where I come. And that's what I want to be there.
That's how you differentiate yourself. Yeah.
Yes, and I want to do it very happily. So I tell them 7 days a week. If you want to learn from me, you can even take your own videos when you're practicing at home, send me, I'll correct them.
Mm.
So I give that. Retreat, I tell them 24 hours a day, Sonali Gia is available. I tell when they come I welcome them. And in the welcoming speech, I tell them, Sonali Gia is available 24 hours, be it food complaints or be it your room, be it your whatever. You want some private session with me of Pilates, we'll take some time out in the retreat. That's why retreats are important.
Very important.
And not just workshops.
Workshop. Yeah.
Because workshop तो आप जाओगे वो टीचर 10 लोगों को सिखाएगी आपको टाइम नहीं दे पाएगी. But either retreats are what with 8 people, 12 people, max 15. I do retreats with 8 to 12. Sometimes it may go. But then that is so good because we are personally getting to know the person.
Yeah.
We have a feedback. We have a form initially where I understand before they come for the retreat, which space they are coming. So I design my activities based on the general crowd.
Yeah.
And then we have 2 teachers. That's why I like 2 teachers. Because say if somebody wants to do something, the other teacher will handle something else. So that's why I want to differentiate my retreats, our retreats rather, from the other retreats which are happening. Where just, you're available and then you go back to your room. So I don't rest in my room. I am there.
Okay. Sonali, you mentioned about diet, Ayurveda diet. Do you incorporate it in your retreat program? And I'm sure you have clients from different cultures, body types. They have different goals. How do you tailor your programs to make sure that everyone achieves their so-called objectives?
In a retreat?
Yeah.
So yeah, we usually the places that we select are some of them are farm to table concept. They run on the concept of farm to table. or they have organic food. They do their own farming. Vegetables are grown there, so it's all very organic. And the idea that in the retreats, yes, we do offer vegetarian food basically. That's the whole week.
Only
because-
vegetarian. Okay.
Yes, only vegetarian. Eggs, we make it an option because, yeah, eggs is quite a part of everybody's daily routine.
Right.
The reason being that, when we are doing practices like pranayama, where you're working with your breath, when you're working with, you want to, take your experience to one level higher, be it in any which ways. So, the sattvic food concept works very well.
Okay.
So it's like a detox. How in Upwas, when some festival comes and you detox, you stop your non-veg. That's the kind of thing. But
Okay.
then we are not very strict about it.
Okay.
In the sense, some of the places that we go to, they have non-veg. So what we do is it's out of the retreat thing that they can order and they can have. That's fine. But the whole thing goes as it's a vegetarian meal.
So that's part of the Ayurveda.
That's the part of the Ayurveda or
Mm.
the naturopathy kind of a thing.
Okay.
But they are not very strict. Like it's good food,
Mm.
and we have different meals. We have snacks, breakfast, starting from breakfast, everything. We have toast, like bread and all.
But are
It's
you
not that.
vegetarian yourself?
I am a vegetarian. I'm an an egg eater. So basically, vegetarian.
Okay, vegetarian. Okay.
Yes.
What role does nature play in your retreats, and why is that connection to outdoors so vital in your healing program?
Very good question and very important, relevant.
Hmm.
Because nature,
Mm.
actually, if you go to see, it really heals. Like, just an example, we sit in the house
Mm.
and we are like holed up in the house, say for 2-3 days or even for a few hours, and you just step out in a park
Mm.
and you just see green trees, or you just go to a beach and take a walk on the beach. Just, have you ever like consciously seen what's the shift? We have no time,
Mm.
but actually it really heals you. So when you go back home, you are much more clear. If you ever, just be a little more aware, then you will see that difference. You just walk to a green park, you just remove your shoes and walk on grass.
On the grass, yeah.
On the grass, you see how it feels. It's therapy.
Mm.
I make it a point now to do it, and thanks to my coaches, a lot of people even push me into it, that sometimes we are so busy that we don't get time and, we just forget about it. But that's so important. And that's why retreats, we choose such places which are very beautiful, which have nature as a big, big, big part of it, because we take nature walks. We do a lot of nature walks. Like the last one I did at Mati Se Farm, it is, we had the jungle right behind.
Mm.
And it's like a tiger zone. So every day we used to go walking in the jungle. Where are you going to find this?
So your
Such a-
retreats are in India?
Right now in India,
Okay.
but we are looking at, in Jan, Feb, we are looking at Thailand. We are looking now to go international, like say Lakshadweep, maybe Sri Lanka, maybe such places, I'm still, because we have to do a recce, you have to go. So we are
Yeah.
we are working towards it.
And usually in India, where do you have your retreats, and it's for how many days?
Dharamshala, I had already 2 in Dharamshala. The third one is happening in October. It's for 5 nights, 6 days. Because Dharamshala is a
Where's this?
Dharamshala,
Where's?
which is Himachal Pradesh.
Oh, Himachal Pradesh.
Yes. So because the commuting is a little long,
Okay.
like the commute from maybe people coming all over the country or even international,
Okay.
there is a drive involved 4 hours. So generally we keep 5 days, 5 nights, 6 days, because you're coming so far, you don't want to wind up in 3 days.
Mm.
But the one which I had in Maharashtra, the Kamshet one, it was specially for city people, Bombay people, where you come for 3 nights. You can, if you're not able to leave your work for so long, come for 3 nights, experience and go back. That was a great success. The Forester one,
Mm.
that was specially for the people from Mumbai.
This is where in Maharashtra?
Kamshet, which is 2 hours from Mumbai.
Oh, just 2 hours from Mumbai.
Exactly. So they come on a Friday and like 3 nights, 4 days,
Right.
can select a long weekend. So I'm planning to do, one closer, one close by one far one.
This is a good idea.
Yeah, because then everybody can't
Not everyone.
take time out. So
Yeah.
this time also the dates I've chosen are 1st to 6th. In India, it's a bank holiday. It's Dasera. So basically they take 3 days off and they get 6 days.
What are the dates and the month?
1st October to 6th October.
1st October. Okay. We will share this in our podcast so everyone can reach out to you.
Sure.
Okay. And it's still open, right?
It's still open. We have a few spots
Okay.
because we don't take too many people.
Right.
It's like a limited people, but yes, we do have openings. We have just launched it 15 days back.
Okay, cool. So our audience will love to be part of your program. I'll also try and make it if I can.
Oh, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
Okay, your motto is about constantly learning and sharing, right? So what's the most recent skill you have picked up or you plan to explore next? personally for yourself and also for your retreat
Yes.
attendees?
So every year I decide to learn something new. That's my mantra. So this year I went for 1 month. I went to Mysore.
Okay.
I just left home for a month, entire month. I stopped all my classes and I was in Mysore doing the yoga course, yoga TTC. The people have been just talking about yoga. I have done yoga. I said, I want to learn the authentic way of what is yoga. So I went to Mysore and I trained for 1 month there, and it was an experience. Our phones were taken away. It was a sadhana. I can just call it. It was not a course. It was a sadhana. We had philosophy lectures, we had anatomy. Whole day we were just with ourselves. 4 hours of intense practice, waking up at 4, sleeping at 9, sattvic food.
1 month, no phone.
No. We used to get phone for 1 hour to talk to a family.
Okay.
And Sundays we used to get. But Kishore, I must tell you, after 2 weeks, I did not want the phone. None of us wanted the phone. मत दो हमें 2 से 3 भी नहीं चाहिए. वो सिर्फ husband या parents या जिसको भी phone करना है एक कर दो. और वो भी we are not interested in talking about the
Yeah,
the regular stuff.
correct.
And it was difficult for me after I came to Mumbai. I said, oh my God, materialistic world again, back to the things. It was so peaceful there. Just learning and what. So yeah, I learned yoga and I did yin yoga also last year. I studied yin yoga because I felt that I also need to, that thera is important.
Right.
And yin and yang energies, or yes, only yang will not do. You have to balance it out. That's where I started learning. I learn everything for myself first, not always to teach. And then I see how it resonates, how I do my practice, and then I teach. And I have a few courses lined up. US also, I have a function, mobility course that I'm looking at. Pilates, I'm looking at again, furthering my knowledge in it. So yeah, there are a lot of plans in the pipeline.
Amazing. Let's have some fun questions, okay?
Okay.
If you have to pick between Pilates and kettlebell, which one?
Well,
Kettle. Okay. One wellness myth you wish.
no, 1 minute. That was not my answer. I was
No?
correcting you.
Ah,
Kettlebell, not kettleball.
kettlebell.
Kettlebell.
Sorry. Kettlebell.
Actually, that's a tough one. I love kettlebell.
Okay.
But your question was lifelong?
No. Just if you were to pick one between the two.
Fun, dynamic kettlebell.
Yeah.
But Pilates is coming back to home.
Coming back to, okay.
Yes.
One wellness myth you wish people would stop believing.
There are lots.
Mhm.
I'll say 2.
Tell me.
For Pilates, Pilates, everybody feels Pilates is for women.
Okay.
It's not like
It's not,
a man invented it. Joseph Pilates invented it. But that somehow, the equipment everywhere, it's like, okay, women. Men don't want to do. They want to go to the gym stuff. So that's the myth. The second myth I'll say, that, hard is like you have to work really hard. You have to, for fitness, to get a good body, you have to give time to it, like 1 hour a day. Not necessary. So sometimes people say, I don't have time. You can always take time. You can move. So movement can happen even in 15 minutes. So what you need is smart training. Unless your goals are sports or something. But a regular person has to, there's nothing like you don't have time. You can actually get your movements done in your day-to-day activities.
And movement is covered in your retreat.
Yeah,
Okay.
we move.
Super.
We do all kinds of movement.
Super. Favorite place you have traveled to for a retreat or training?
Or training. So retreat, Dharamshala, till now my favorite, but new ones, it'll change soon as I have my retreats in other places. But for my course, when I went to Mysore, it was a bliss. And Mysore is a beautiful city.
A lot of people look at Goa as a retreat. Does it like take you off track into only fun and, and doesn't make you stay on track of, reinventing yourself? Is that why you didn't choose Goa?
I didn't choose Goa because a lot is happening in Goa. Goa is like everybody is just in Goa. Doing a lot of things. There are, after COVID, a lot of people, the trainers and a lot of teachers have now made Goa a base. They've shifted and they work out of there. And I don't know, Goa has not happened. You're right. Goa, it was in my mind. But somehow, the place, the right place, because I personally get attracted to mountains.
Okay.
That's me.
That's the reason.
So
Not beaches.
beaches I like. I like nature basically.
Okay.
But beaches, yeah, it's a little later. So, and if it's a beach, then, if it's water, then I would love Lakshadweep or Maldives.
all
With
this-
them, I would have an activity of snorkeling. See,
Yeah.
wherever I do a retreat, I want the local part of it embedded in it.
Mm,
I just don't want only movement like Pilates and no. You have to get out of it and do probably
right,
some adventure
right.
also because I am very adventurous. So कहाँ जाऊंगी तो अगर स्काई डाइविंग होगा तो वो भी करेंगे, पैराग्लाइडिंग भी करेंगे. So वो that is me.
Right.
So yeah.
Okay. What's your morning ritual if you have any, or night ritual if you have any?
Yeah, ritual is there. I mean, morning is just gratitude first.
Mm.
I mean, that's what I've learned and it has grounded me a lot. Gratitude that I'm alive and well and I'm blessed. Always that feeling blessed because I feel my life, everything happens for a reason. For me, I'm a staunch believer of that. Everything in life, the good and the bad.
Do you believe in God or universe?
I am spiritual. I believe in the higher power
Mm.
of the universe. Definitely. If you name it as God, then be it God. But I will say it's just that higher power.
Mm.
And we all have that power, in us. And somehow that faith is there. That even if negative comes today, I've come to that point. Like right now, also, I'm going through a injury. And previously, it used to take me down. Now I say, you know what, ये आया है कुछ मतलब है उसका. वो आज नहीं पता चल रहा है. And that I tell everybody. वो आज नहीं पता चल रहा है. So don't take the setbacks in your life as permanent and be so down. If you turn the setbacks into your strength, thinking that no, this has happened for a reason, you can't see that reason today.
Mm.
But in some time it will get clear. And my entire life has been on this. All the negatives when I think back today in my life, which I would maybe cry over, today they were a bull.
Mm.
And I've reached here because of all those negatives in my life. Those 2 accidents,
Yeah.
they were a reason for me to the 10 years of my life which I felt I wasted, and I wasted, not wasted as in life wasted, but fitness wise I could have done way better, but I didn't get it because that was not the right time for me. You have to trust the universe. Only when your time is right, it'll come to you. So मुझे पहले बहुत खराब लगता था कि 45 पे मेरा स्टार्ट हुआ, अगर मैं 35 पे करती तो मैं कहाँ होती. बट ऐसे थॉट नहीं कर सकते हम. You can't think that way. If you think like that, you are wasting that energy into thinking, going back into the past. You have to think that no, this has a meaning. There is something which will come out. No event in your life
Mm.
comes or has come without a reason.
Mm.
If you believe in that, that is destiny.
Mm.
Your life is good. And keep working. Keep working.
In closing, I want to ask you one thing. How would you describe your life journey, and what would you maybe share with the audience? Because your journey has been an amazing journey from my point of view, right from being a sports superstar, playing at the national level, to being a ranker in CA, to working with Merrill Lynch and Deloitte, and now having a retreat, a wellness retreat, where people from all over the world, like I've come from Singapore, and I'm so wanting to be part of your retreat, and I'm sure there'll be a lot more after this podcast. What message do you want to share to all those guys who are hustling, who are trying so hard at life, and here you are, I see you rested. What is that message that you want to give? So 2 things. Number one, how would you describe your life journey? And what is that one message you want to give to everyone out there who's hustling, who was not rested? Whether in the job they're not rested, in their relationship they're not rested, in their fitness they are not rested. अपने fitness से खुश नहीं है. मतलब ऐसे क्या है? What is so magical about you that I feel your vibration की इसने पता नहीं, what has she attained? What is that message you want to give so that people feel that they have reached that kind of level of restfulness rather than restlessness?
Very deep question, yeah. Very.
मुझे तो वैसा फीलिंग आ रहा है आपसे,
हाँ, सही.
क्योंकि कॉलेज में आप बहुत रेस्टलेस थे.
True.
Now I see a different Sonali. I see you very at peace with yourself. What is it, that message you want to give, so people who's watching your podcast can achieve that level of being at peace with themselves?
Okay. First, I think the main thing which I sometimes when I think why this I am the way I am, I think comparison. It takes you down, and especially with the social media, it's a struggle now. I see a lot of youngsters. I teach a lot of youngsters, so I deal with the younger generation a lot, the middle age and the younger. I see that it's always about, being there, being one of then the other. So I feel they're just, it's all about iska ye hai, means dikhana hai. It's all, they just, rather than going inside and trying to introspect and understand what is it that you like and what you should do, their life they live through the expectations and the norms of the society, which I was a rebel against right from my earlier age.
Okay.
Like as I have said, I used to, if I don't resonate, I ask myself, I'm not comfortable, I used to just leave that thing.
Huh.
I'm not saying everybody that they should do that. That's not the way to do it. But what I'm trying to say is try to at least connect with your own self. Where is the time? Nobody has the time to slow down. They're just running one thing after the other after the other.
Do you help people in your retreat to address this problem? Connect with yourself?
Yeah. So because the activities are revolving around that.
Okay.
So there are combination of dynamic sessions and slowing down sessions. So many people are restless when those sessions come. They are not able to stay still. Meditation comes, they're moving, they're fidgeting. So we try to just cue them and then with our wellness talks, what we talk. Because see, there are always the in-between times in a retreat, which you don't get in a workshop here. So those in-between times are to sit and chat and come out with your life story. And that's where, you meet people and you are able to help them and make them realize that, there is one life. You have to have the balance in life. The problem is the balance is not there. Either people are workaholics, they're keeping on working, they're saying, पैसा बनाना है अभी, फिर जब एज होगा 40 होगा फिर मैं ये करूंगा, 40 तक तुम्हारा हेल्थ होगा कि नहीं होगा? Do you know that? Today you see,
or will you be alive also?
will you be on today? So I can say even that.
Huh.
What am I seeing around?
Yeah.
So I always tell whoever I see and people come and ask me, how you take such decisions. I said, it's not wrong to dream. Dreaming to you have to, even I dream. We all have to dream, but you have to get a right balance. You can't be just, going endlessly and ignoring your health. I will say to the youngsters, please don't wait for your 40s and 30s. Your health is in your hands, because if you lose your health, paisa bahut hoga bank mein. But that money is only used for doctor visits, your tests. Everybody, I'm going for MRI, I'm going for this, I'm going for that, I'm struggling. I'm just hearing that. But use that, balance your life. Decide where you want to say no. Learn the art of saying no. But then so for that you have to even detach from the society norms also a little bit. Like my husband retired at the age of 52. He decided to call it quits. और ऐसे नहीं था कि we had, बहुत कुछ बन गया था. Rishi was in the 10th grade. My son was in the 10th. But because even me, I did not pressurize him. Everybody asked me, how are you going to deal with him in the house? It's going to be difficult. I said, no, it's his choice. Everybody has a free will. I believe in that, even if it's my spouse. Everybody has a free will to live the way he or she wants to live. Even my son, I give him that full freedom. I never, even today, he's 25, but he's like, I always tell him I'm supporting you. Now life is in your hands. It's your life. Good, bad, all decisions.
Your retreat also addresses relationship challenges?
No, we don't. We don't go there because we are not dealing with the psychological or the other aspect of it.
Because you said, आपने कितनी अच्छी बात कही कि it's his decision and I respect his decision. So it's such a beautiful thing that a wife sees that my partner's decision is something that I have to understand and let him be, which I guess is not easy for every partner to accept and maybe even allow the other partner to
I see that.
to do it.
And that causes a lot of then issues. But why should that be an issue? So I think that is where grounding comes into the picture.
Okay.
You have to be able to ground yourself. So anchor yourself. And those anchoring things people are not doing nowadays. They're just into parties, work hard, party hard. The in-between element, the Zen mode, the in-between is all gone. And by the time they realize that now is the time to do something, it's too late.
So can I say that in some ways your retreat fills that gap? In some ways.
Yes.
वो
does.
100%
And
नहीं हो
बहुत
सकता.
relationships, क्या होता है, you bond with people. I have seen so many friendships blossom. Like there are so many who knew me and the other person, means I knew both of them, but they did not know each other and today they're best of friends. And they go on holidays together. Imagine, they didn't have somebody like that and they have become such good friends that, it's so I feel very happy. That's for me, it's very gratifying at the end of the day कि मेरे वजह से 3 लोग मिलते हैं ना और उनका अगर अच्छा हो रहा है ना तो बहुत अच्छा है. So that insecurity feeling with me is not there. I've worked to manage to get over it
Right.
with through all the practices that I do, and that movement helps me ground.
Right.
That's why coming back to movement heals, this is what it does.
Right.
My personality, that little change that you're seeing, it's all the problems in life that have come, all the battles that have come. So I just tell people, do not see battles as battles.
Fantastic.
So just pass through each battle and see, it's fun. And today when I look back, it's a story. As you said, it's a movie.
Yeah.
My story is actually a movie.
Guys, I think Sonali's sharing is really a amazing lesson for all of us, from being an ultimate corporate, I would say, leader to now practicing wellness in life. I'm very much touched. Sonali, thank you so much for coming. I'm going to share with all of you her details for our upcoming retreat, which is, you said, in October.
October 1st to 6th in Dharamshala, Himachal Pradesh.
In Himachal Pradesh. We'll be sharing the links. If you would like to join, of course, you can reach out to her. The links will be there in the podcast. I would simply say that live a life where it's not just all about money and it's not all about fun. Try to bridge it. That's what Sonali has done in this podcast. And I have learned a lot. I hope you have also learned from this podcast, and please keep supporting us. Sonali, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Kishore. It was a lovely opportunity and thank you for having me here, actually, and living my life again.
Yes. And hopefully I can also come for that retreat.
Oh, it'll be awesome. So it would be a pleasure.
Thank you very much.